stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Sticks and stones will break my bones, and words will never hurt me. Those of you whose Friday is ruined, coming from the lips and the tongue of Bill Simmons, screw that, screw him. He's a Bostonian. He comes from the rich parts of Marlborough, Massachusetts, not from the other side of the tracks like yours truly. But for starters, it's like, why even give him what he wants? Why even give him the attention? If you listen regularly, thank you. You noticed last week I didn't even mention Ryan Clark, or it was earlier this week, took his thing on Travis Hunter. And whatever it was about how if he doesn't play both ways and play well, whatever. I'm paraphrasing. I didn't even mention on the program. There are way too many people who have a voice and will say anything to get a reaction. When it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, there are so few national members of the media who actually do know what they're talking about. And I think most of you get it, yet they keep bringing you in. It's out there. It's on social media. It feeds you, and you end up reacting. I'd be willing to wager right now that Bill Simmons can't name 7 or 8 players on the Jacksonville Jaguars, okay? My guess is that Bill Simmons has formed this opinion on Trevor Lawrence about, quote, he's not good at football, on probably this. He's a Boston guy, okay? Actually, he grew up in the rich suburbs of suburban Boston. He watched Nick Foles, and he watched Doug Peterson years ago beat his beloved New England Patriots, and he figured when Doug Peterson got here to Jacksonville, the exact same thing should have happened with Trevor Lawrence. It has not. It has been a disaster. He's not aware of the fact that there's been no rushing attack. He's not aware of the fact that the offensive line has been the worst in pro football. He's not aware of the fact that Peterson gave up the play calling. Press Taylor took over that responsibility, and he sucked. So I just want to mention it. And again, I'm giving it credence, which I'm kind of disappointed that I'm doing just that, but I'm trying to make a point. And this isn't a pat the back of us here at 92.5 FM in the local beat, who I think work really, really hard. Okay. And I see stuff that I get. I may run into other stuff. Media is always going to be disrespected in every city that you work. There's always going to be a claim by fans of a team that we could have better members of the media. That's your opinion. I'm fine with that. But I'm here to tell you there's only a handful of folks, Pete Prisco's one, that you can honestly really trust when it comes to knowing what is going on with this football team. The good, the bad, and the indifferent. Bill Simmons is not one of them. Bill Simmons is a pissed-off gambler, okay? He probably lost money on Jacksonville, and he is so unlike true Bostonians. He really is. I've never met a man in Boston who hasn't taken several punches to the face. I'm willing to wager that Bill Simmons has never taken a punch. He's a guy who's always been on the outside looking in. I bet he didn't play any athletics growing up. I bet he never got in a street fight. It's not as though I advocate that. I don't. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But growing up there, it was impossible not to battle. I think the exception to the rule is Bill Simmons. Again, I'm willing to bet that man has never taken a punch. So that's it. I'm not going to mention it anymore. But I wanted to use that to point out to those who actually take responsibility for covering this team and take responsibility for giving their opinion and analyzing what they see with this team. Whether you agree or disagree with them, the work has been put in. Some harder than others. Okay, that's just the way of life. But Bill Simmons? No. he's not your answer. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock is going to be really intriguing. I have 5 guys that I still think could either A, make the team, B, get cut, or C, possibly get moved, possibly be traded. The Jaguars added a defensive tackle in Colin Saunders. There was all that talk that was out there about, from Sean Payton in Denver about adding Devon Vele, a 6'5" wide receiver. You look at the receivers around here, they go from 6'2" to Parker Washington, who's 5'10". Is there a possibility that Jacksonville tries to make a trade? Sure. Who are some possible trade candidates? Well, obviously Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby. I think Savage is a guy that maybe you could get a little something for. Now, there's 3 guys competing for that second safety position, and it feels like it's Dewey Wingard's job to lose. They would have to add another safety at some point. Again, I don't think Daniel Thomas is a guy that should make the 53 based on him being a safety. I think he will make the original roster because I'm under the belief that they are going to begin this year by putting Caleb Ransaw on the IR. Now, I may be wrong. I may. And we're going to actually go through the 53 coming up here in just a little bit. I spent a lot of time on it today. Tell you what, I had issues coming up with 25 offensive players. I only came up with 23. And, I think that speaks volumes of where this football organization is and where they actually could add next week after the 53-man roster is set. And then, with the waiver wire, which particular direction is this football team going to go? Hayes Carline and I were just discussing it. Hopefully you got an opportunity to see Duval Rundown, which is on, during the regular season, will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:04. And I join Hayes each and every Friday at 9:04. But he asked me a tough question today. And we talked about it yesterday, but never really identified it. And that is, after Liam Cohen saying only 3 guys are going to get a jersey, who's the odd man out? And I think the logical answer would be the 7th-round pick, and Allen Jr. But they rave about him in pass protect, and that's an issue. Again, they struggled with the offensive line yesterday. Couldn't run the football. Trevor threw 2 touchdowns to Brian Thomas Jr. He also threw 2 interceptions. The reports from down there was that one of his picks probably would have been a sack. So there's still issues, undoubtedly, huge issues with that offensive line. They're going to have to run double tights. They're going to have a back end that is willing to pass protect. And I think you can make the case that the 2 best pass protectors in the backfield are Allen Jr. and Tootin. Problem is they have 0 experience. None. Absolutely 0. And things are, they change a little bit in a couple of weeks when Carolina gets here. So he asked me the question, and my answer was the guy that I've been bragging about since day one, and that was Tootin. And the only reason why I felt that is because of what I just told you about Allen Jr. And I honestly do believe with Carolina up in 16 days, okay, your best chance to win is with Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby. At what point does that change? That is a solid question. I get it in this city. So many of you are down on Travis Etienne. I still am having a difficult time understanding why that is. I think he has had a sensational training camp. I mean, he knows that he's on watch, and he has responded. He's done it all. In practice, he missed that one run when he didn't cut inside against Pittsburgh. It was his second carry in that game. But, outside of that, I think Etienne has really performed well. Tank Bigsby is not a prototypical Liam Cohen back, right, based on what he did a year ago in Tampa Bay. But still, he is very productive. What are you going to get if you move him? We saw the Brian Robinson trade today 49ers for a 6th-round pick. That, as well, is another question that needs to be asked. Are you just going to give away ETN for a conditional late-round pick? That doesn't make you better in 2 weeks against Carolina, right? Same with Tank Bigsby. So it really is. It's a good problem to have. And I guess my thinking right now is that they're not going to make a deal for either one of those two. It could happen, but I think they're going to hold on to him. And the end result is that you're going to have some unhappy guys. You're going to have some guys that believe they should have the football. And one of them may end up being a game day scratch based on what Liam Cohen told us yesterday. All right, opening comments are brought to you by Shmunez Vision. They want to wish you an outstanding weekend. It's pretty simple. Life is filled with wants and needs. A want would be a laser eye surgery. That's 2020 for the rest of your days. And that's getting rid of the aggravation of squinting. That's getting rid of the aggravation of taking out contacts after you pass out or looking for your readers. A need would be something far more serious. If you think you have issues with your eyes, it may be something as simple as an allergy. Okay? Could be more significant. Maybe it's a cataract issue. Just because you have that doesn't mean you need surgery. There could be another remedy. If one is needed, whether it's that, refractive surgery, or anything else, you're talking about way more than 30 years worth of experience with Dr. Neil Shmunez, Dr. Catherine Shmunez, and Dr. John Hunt. Make an appointment today. Just go to Shmunez Vision online. You can also go to Instagram and get everything there from folks who have been fans for quite some time at Shmunez Vision. All right, when we come back, let's roll into this a little bit. The 53. Where are you? Who is, under pressure tomorrow night to make some plays? We'll examine that, and we'll get you involved in the conversation. 641-1010 text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also, let's welcome those watching on YouTube tonight. You can go there as well. That is 1010XL into the night.
While you were watching the ball, he saw what happened in the trenches.
I'm Jeff Laudeman.
And he tells you about it every Tuesday. Check the tape. 10 to noon on Jaguars Today. Checked by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
When the unexpected happens, you shouldn't have to face it alone. I'm Chris Campione, and at Campione Law, we're here to fight for you. Whether it's an auto accident or a slip and fall, our Jacksonville team takes care of every detail, from investigating the incident to securing multi-million-dollar verdicts, so you can focus on getting better. And remember, you don't pay a dime unless we win your case. Our commitment is 24/7, bringing you the real support from real people who really care. Campione Law, your dedicated partners in justice. Visit CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
Hey, Hicken here. Tired of glasses or contacts? Discover customized vision solutions at Bowden Eye & Associates. Dr. Bowden's team offers cutting-edge options like EVO implantable Collamer lenses or refractive lens exchange and classic LASIK, designed to fit your life. Picture perfect vision for reading, driving, or just enjoying the day. It's easier than you think. Call now for your free screening. Bowden Eye & Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
I'm Hammer and Hayes Carline, and I've been known to drop an opinion like a 2-ton hammer. Weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Hammer Time with Hayes on 1010XL. Driven by Kia on Atlantic. Check us out at KiaOnAtlantic.com.
Football is a game of inches, and at Front Runners Tap House, every inch counts. Catch every big play on their massive 396-inch giant television. The ultimate game day experience is waiting for you at Front Runners Tap House inside the Community First Igloo.
Right now at Beard's Diamonds, pay $0 down and get 0 interest financing for 5 whole years. Yes, you heard it right. That $12,000 designer engagement ring is yours now for just $200 a month. This makes everything affordable. How about a $6,000 diamond eternity band, just $100 a month? Say goodbye to high interest rates. Get the relief you deserve at Beard's Diamonds. But hurry, this incredible offer ends August 31st and will not be extended. How about a $3,000 pair of diamond earrings, only $50 a month? Make any purchase and spread your payments over 5 years with $0 down and 0 interest financing. Rings, rings, earrings, bands, bracelets, pendants, colored gemstone jewelry. Let our non-commissioned experts at Beards help you find the perfect piece of jewelry and take advantage of our best financing offer ever. Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center, Jacksonville's premier locally owned jeweler. Shop now and enjoy zero interest financing for 5 years. Hurry, this amazing offer ends August 31st. On approved credit, some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Did you know that basketball and volleyball were invented at the YMCA? That's right, and even today, the Y continues to lead the way in youth sports programming, from toddlers just starting out to teens ready to compete. The Y offers skill development, recreational play, and competitive leagues, all in a fun, supportive environment. Get your child in the game to build character and skills at the Y. Registration is now open for youth volleyball and soccer at fcymca.org.
Interested in a unique date night? Gibby here. I took my wife Nikki to Wick a Candle Bar. She made her own custom candle right there in the store. Shop local at Wick a Candle Bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Hey, Hicken here for my friends the Cleaning Freaks at Zero Res. Back to school special with those guys. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $135 plus a free hallway and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and take advantage of these huge savings.
When it comes to towing products, your safety is the priority at Cannons of Jacksonville. Cannons has decades of experience to ensure your towing setup is installed with precision and reliability. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, your trusted partner for a smoother tow.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Here's a reminder to get screened. Ackerman Cancer Center offers on-site imaging and other diagnostic services. Early detection saves lives. Visit AckermanCancerCenter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, Aaron Wilson, based out of Houston, saying that Joshua Cephas is back. He's on IR. No official release from the Jaguars. So we will wait patiently for that. But, you know, that's not a surprise. Dylan and I were talking about that, I don't know, yesterday or Wednesday, whenever the cut actually did take place. So it feels like this is a situation where they like Cephas. They're going to bury Cephas. He's not a special teams ace, but he's still a guy that could end up being, you know, a number 4, number 5 wide receiver down the road.
Yeah, I mean, everything from camp. I know it's just camp, and most of the time, you know, a lot of the reports are from when they're adjusting helmets. You know, some of it's in pads, but, you know, he was a really good receiver, and it's just hard. It's one of those things where if you are a number 5 or a number 6 receiver on any NFL roster, you have to play special teams, and it doesn't seem like he's going to play special teams for the team. So it's going to be hard for him to make the roster. You know, hopefully they'll probably stash him away in the practice squad like they did a year ago.
Patriots just cut a bunch of folks. That includes a couple former Seminoles, Jaheim Bell, Isaiah Bolden. Someone asked me about Jaheim Bell. The answer to that would be no. I mean, Jaheim Bell's a poor man's Evan Ingram, right? Jaheim Bell's not a blocking tight end. He was a makeshift tight end. Actually, I think Bolden has the makeup to be, Bell has the makeup to be a pretty decent fullback. But, you know, how many teams use the fullback nowadays? This team is going to add. There is no question about it. And Liam Cohen told us that yesterday. But I don't think that is the case there. Involved for Jacksonville heading out to New England. All right, tonight's show brought to you by Alexander Law Practice. And, you know, for starters, if you're in this situation right now, or you're aware of a friend or a colleague who's in a situation like this, make sure you give them the information at Alexander Law Practice. Their number's 400-6600. Well, you know, personal injury, that includes obviously an automobile accident, and you may be dealing with that right now, and it came to you where it wasn't your fault at all. It was because the other driver was careless, right? And now all of a sudden you're without a vehicle. All of a sudden you can't get to work. you're having trouble paying bills? These are the type of questions you ask Rick Alexander and the lawyers at the Alexander Law Practice. They're going to answer all of those questions for you. You're never going to come out of pocket, okay? Ask about this. They could take you through this process financially and help you when you are in need. So, 400-6600, free call, free consultation, ask questions. For starters, you're going to get an immediate call back, which is nice. They're going to make you feel important. Then you're going to get the individualized treatment that you deserve. Then they're going to put together a solid plan looking at everything that has happened. And, the end road is going to be what you absolutely do deserve. Again, go to Alexander Law Practice. That's Alexander Law Practice online. And you can call them. It's a free call and a free consultation. 400-6600. There you go. Let's get to Trevor here a little bit. And, I said what I had to say about the knucklehead who just destroyed Lawrence. Now let's move along from that and really examine the issues. And I'm not talking about chatter that comes from others. I'm talking about being realistic, where this team has been, where this team can actually go. Bottom line for Trevor Lawrence, he's got to win. He's got to win. There's no longer room for go ahead and give us your excuse. That's over. Okay? Now, I'm not saying he's going to go out and go 14-3 this year. After going 4-13 a year ago, we didn't start in every game. He only started in 10. But that's where you are. He's got to win. And if you look what happened yesterday, it was really pretty scary. Okay? Number one, Jacksonville couldn't run the football. Number two, Jacksonville struggled in pass protection. Number three, and maybe this is most alarming, and Liam Cohen talked about it, Trevor Lawrence really struggled with Miami's, quote, mask defense. Okay? And for those who do not know what that means, they would show man coverage, they go into zone. They would show man coverage, they would go to cover two. They would show man coverage. Liam Cohen even mentioned something I had never heard before, a cover 8. They would show cover 2, they'd go to man. Okay? Those who really beat up Trevor Lawrence, they waste no time going to he cannot read defenses. That seems to be the... And I'm talking about real, honest criticism. Not hot takes and firing stuff up. Again, the guy, the Simmons dude, the Ryan Clark dude, I mean, those are hot takes. They may watch the red zone. They may get something on a reel. They're not watching the entire Jaguars game. They don't know what's going on with this football team. Okay? They don't play nationally televised games. Guys like this in the national media do not watch. Those who really pay attention are going to say what, though? He struggles reading defenses. He's never fully going to be able to take that next step until that light goes on. I think being at every one of these practices and watching what has happened over the last several weeks, it has not been perfect. It has been anything but. However, there's been improvement. I think Liam Cohen, I think Grant Udinski, I think everyone involved with this offense is aware of the problems. They've tried to do everything that they can to improve that. 6 new offensive linemen, couple of new tight ends, couple of new backs, couple of new wide receivers. They've tried. Only time will tell if it's actually going to be able to work out. Now, they've done things in practice that I have frankly never seen before. Okay? It's what they call alignments and assignments where they'll line up offensively, call a play, perhaps even change that play at the line of scrimmage, snap the ball, and then the officials blow the whistle. Okay? It sounds high schoolish in a way. But when you have all these false starts, when you have all these mistakes, they went back to the basics. And you hope that it has worked. Now they're aware of something new. And I want to believe that this is a smart enough coaching staff that they saw this during film study last year and, throughout Trevor Lawrence's career. How do they now fix what is called mask defense, where you show something and you do something else? Trevor even talked about this yesterday, where you learn tendencies of your opponents. And this happens both offensively and defensively. I was talking about that with Coach Ingram recently when I had him on about, you practice against the same guys every team. You have an idea when they're going to drop in coverage. You have an idea when they're going to pin their ears back and come after the quarterback. I mean, when you face someone every day, there are different things that they do that you understand that this is going to happen. When you take on a different opponent every Sunday, that is not going to be the case. Now, I really think that there's a chance to get through this based on the Liam Cohen offense, okay? What have you seen so far with the Liam Cohen offense? You've seen a ton of motion. Pre-snap motion, counters by wide receivers, a totally advanced screen game, the ability to just get the football to your playmakers. Short stuff, intermediate stuff, behind the line of scrimmage. Doug Peterson, it was archaic. Doug Peterson, Presto, they never changed their offense. It was the same old, okay? Absolute total lack of pre-snap motion. A screen game that looked like it was taught by a third grader, right? I mean, how many different types of screens did you see the last 3 years? You've seen more, I mean, in a couple of preseason games and if you went to the scrimmage. That you can even go back to that 4th and 1 when they ran a reverse, and I'm like, no, I want to play man football, line up and run it down their throat. But what that did was show this is what we're going to do, and this is what I've done. This is what Cohen did in Tampa. It's what he's going to do here. It wasn't a razzle-dazzle, hey, we picked up a first down during a meaningless preseason game. It's his offense. This is what we're going to do. Maybe handing it off to a running back on 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 and just run between the guards. Maybe that is the exception to the rule. It makes you think. Also, wide receivers learning each and every position. It's not the standard, okay, Thomas on one side, Brown on the other, Travis Hunter in the slot. Hell no. Look at how they invert, how they flip, how they change. So I like that part of it. I think that can really benefit Trevor Lawrence, who to me looks more comfortable. He looks set in the pocket. Looks like he's not ready to leave the pocket too soon. I'm not a quarterback whisperer. I can't really tell you about the change with his footwork. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, for me, it's a blur. It is, as far as footwork, but apparently everyone's happy with it. So I look at the style of offense and I'm saying, okay, that's what they want to do. And that's what they talked about, making it easier for Trevor Lawrence. Here's the problem. I just gave you 10 positives. Here's the problem. Can they run the freaking football? If they can't run the football, defenses are going to be geared up to stop the pass. That is what this whole thing comes down to. The offensive line, the best position group, in my opinion, in training camp, has been the running backs. Can you run the football? Apparently they didn't yesterday in Miami. We can bring up Pittsburgh. We can bring up New Orleans. We know they did not face defensive starters. This is going to be wide open against Carolina. And there's still competition on that offensive line. I really get the feeling that that's going to be, I don't want to call it a revolving door, but I don't think you're looking at a consistent front five each and every week. There's going to be some mixing and some matching. There's going to be some changes. And hopefully it's not because of attrition. Hopefully it's not because of injury. Hopefully it's just getting the most competitive guys out there. I think everything else is going to be fine. I really do. But that right there, Trevor Lawrence, 1A, 1B. Can you run the football? If you can run the football, there's no telling what this offense could do. They've got some really good skill position football players. Didn't even mention the tight end in Strange. But you have to run it to keep things balanced. All right, let's grab your reaction to that, and let's get ready to make our way towards my latest 53-man projection with the cut being set for Monday. By the time we join you on Monday, the Jaguars will have a 53-man roster, and they will be working on putting together their 16-member practice squad. So that's going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up on Monday. You can join us. Text line 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also on YouTube, 1010XL into the night. Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Hi, I'm John Haney from Clearwater Gutters and Drainage. After heavy rains, the problems are obvious. Mulch blown out of your beds, water standing around your foundation, and that fancy new crater back behind your bushes. Let Clearwater Seamless Gutters help you solve the problem spots.
Clearwater Seamless Gutters. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at gutters. And drainage, too.
Find out more at clearwaterjacks.com.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
The best game day parking in all of Duval is at Tailgaters Parking. Are you ready for some football? Tailgaters is just steps away on the east side of the stadium. Visit tailgatorsparking.com and secure your season parking pass today.
Summer's wrapping up, and life is picking back up. Early mornings, long days, and a to-do list that doesn't quit. And neither should you. Who has time to slow down due to body pain? That's why there's Aleve to keep you going. With just one pill, Aleve delivers longer-lasting body pain relief per dose compared to other leading OTC branded pain relievers. Aleve helps keep you moving from sunup to sundown with up to 12 hours of pain relief per dose, so you can keep moving and be ready for whatever's next. Use as directed.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Call 904-500-COOL. Ideal Conditions.
Veteran owned and operated with a mission to change your conditions. For AC installs, repairs, maintenance, or ductwork, Ideal Conditions has been trusted by Jacksonville since 2007. Call Ideal Conditions for a company who shows up on time and gets the job done right.
Call 904-500-COOL.
Honk if you see us. Call for service.
Ideal Conditions.
IdealConditionsJacks.com.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago. Went smooth as silk. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
College football tomorrow. I mean, what? It is here in Dublin. I don't know if it will hit with this market, although, others are like, hey, it's football, I'll watch. We shall see. That's all coming up tomorrow. And then, of course, next weekend, everyone is in action. Some college football perhaps coming up in our second hour. Right now, we're all over the Jaguars. And, Dylan, the text line is beaming at 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Here we go again, 2902. Blue, I can't agree more. Trevor has always been a great quarterback from the neck down, physical attributes. I just worried about whether or not he has the football IQ. What are the chances of that changing, let's say even significantly in year one with Liam Cohen?
I think it's pretty good. I agree that, it's always been with talent. Talent's never been an issue with Trevor. One thing with Trevor, it's always been, high school, you don't have to work that hard. College, you don't have to work that hard. You see all the time where talent, you can just be talented and you're the best guy. I'm not saying that this is Trevor's case, but you can't get away with just being talented and not knowing everything around you. And a lot of it, coaching has lacked in some instances. But I think that Liam Cohen's going to get best out of Trevor that we've seen in Jacksonville since 2021.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I really do. And, I don't think it's effort. I don't think it's work ethic. I think this man really does work hard. He hasn't lived up to what you as Jaguar fans were told that he was going to be. And we always identify the fact that it's not all his fault. There's been a variety of reasons why that has happened. But I think where we are now, okay, that's over with. It's now officially on him, okay, to take it to the next level. And I think they did a wonderful job providing him with skill position guys. I don't, those national rankings that come out, whatever, you can say what you want. But if you look at wide receivers, tight ends, backs, Jacksonville is loaded in those three areas. They're going to have to find another wide receiver, a backup wide receiver, probably a tall wide receiver. But they have really put together, they have really assembled a good unit. Again, it comes down to the offensive line. What you need to see now is for him to do some things that he hasn't done before. And maybe some of that is simply just protecting the ball. Try not to make a play. Okay? No one threw in the double coverage more than Brett Favre. Okay? Lord Favre did it all the time. And he goes down as one of the great quarterbacks of all the time, that the game has ever seen. Well, Jameis Winston was just like Brett Favre. Okay? Jameis Winston's going to throw in the double coverage. Jameis Winston's going to make all sorts of mistakes. Now he's going from team to team to team, primarily as a backup. Trevor is still going to throw some interceptions. I think most people get upset with Trevor when he fumbles the football, and he did that in his last outing. Again, you cannot do that. That's what's aggravating. Let's just get straight to the point. You can't do that. Okay? We saw the scrimmage here that first Friday night. It was maybe his best practice of the year. And then he threw a red zone interception. You can't do that. There wasn't a receiver within 10 yards of him. Everyone's going to throw a pick. Everyone's going to make a mistake. But you're now at a situation where you must be productive while limiting your mistakes. And that's all about football IQ. Or is it just simply he still believes he can make a play, right? The way your brain works in-game. I mean, they tried forever to fix Byron Leftwich's release. They couldn't. They tried forever to fix the hitch with Tim Tebow. They couldn't. They took David Carr and brought up the stepladder. Old friend Chris Palmer did to try to work in his. It didn't. Think about you if you're a golfer, private lessons, right? You're on the range. It feels so awful. But your instructor is telling you, do this, do this, do this, do this. What happens when you go to the first tee? Chances are you probably grab the club and swing it the way you always have. It's in-game moments. I think you forget about a lot of this. And that's another thing. All of a sudden, he's got a lot on his mind. His footwork has changed. His delivery of the football has changed. This is a quicker, faster offense. Sometimes I want guys just going out playing football. I don't want them overthinking. And that's another part of this for those who challenge his football IQ. I don't know if I'm there yet to challenge his football IQ. I do. I lean on the side of excuses. I do. Now, I also will tell you it's time. And I'm going to be very, as I always am, I'm going to be very fair about this. If Trevor gets the job done, I'm going to sit here and brag about it. If Trevor sucks it up, I'm going to say it as well. You know, and obviously for you, I hope it's the former and not the latter. And I want to see you people happy. I do. I mean, I absolutely do. But crying out loud, if you were a Florida State Jaguar fan a year ago, what were you, 6-23? I mean, enough is enough is enough. That's just a horrible fall. 6-23? I mean, that's almost grounds for giving up football. That's almost grounds for doing something else. I wonder how many combined wins for those two this year. I mean, realistically, what can Jacksonville get you? 8, 9? That'd be the realistic number. What's the latest in, with the books? Still around 7.5?
Yeah, 7.5 is where everybody's shopping.
Realistically, what can Florida State win? 7? Maybe 8? So you're talking about 6 wins a year ago combined. Can you get to 16 combined this year? I don't know. Where you bet? Can you bet on 2 teams in a parlay like that? Combined wins? Is that
maybe. Depends on the book.
Okay. We love the book. We do. It's going to be a fascinating year. He's under the microscope. And, my opinion here is that they've coached him up and that it's going to be better. But obviously I didn't even talk about the defense. I think the defense is going to be improved. I think the defense is going to get some takeaways. I think the defense is going to give Trevor Lawrence 1st and 10 solid field position. Last year, their starting field position was the worst in the NFL. Okay? And you only had 8 defensive takeaways. That's terrible. I think that's going to change. I think the defense is going to help the offense. That'll be another factor. All right, let's get into our 53. Let's do that. It's coming up as we approach 7 o'clock. We'll do that. Look at the 53-man roster, my latest projection.
There's something about hearing the game live that makes it all come to life. Feel the energy on 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio. Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL, brought to you by San Jose Collision.
Just like that, another offseason is coming to an end as the Gators kick off their highly anticipated 2025 football season on Saturday, August 30th at 7 p.m. against Long Island University in the Swamp. The Gators look to contend in the SEC this year, led by DJ Lagway entering his first full season as a starter.
40, the Relentless Tour 2025. This Saturday night, St. Augustine Amphitheater, with special guest, The Fix. Get tickets now at AXS.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 22nd, 1989, Texas Rangers pitcher Nolan Ryan would strike out batter number 5,000 for his career, which would be Oakland A's outfielder Ricky Henderson.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Ballou here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roofing Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through August 31st. Financing is available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roofing Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
We've all seen the Nike logo on many famous athlete shirts and hats. But what is Nike? The answer next.
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Nike is the goddess of victory. No wonder Scotty Scheffler wears that logo.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit LeeandKatesGlass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Looking for summer fun the whole family can enjoy? Check out Wick, a candle bar. Make your own custom candles and body care products in store at Wick, a candle bar. Locations in San Marco and Jacks Beach.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's been an inconsistent training camp for Brian Thomas Jr., and depending on where you are there, it's created a lot of rage. I report what I see every day, but kind of like the excuses that are always provided when it comes to talking about Trevor Lawrence, I will always give you the obligatory, yeah, but he's a much better game day player than he is a practice player. And he proved that yesterday. He had 2 touchdown receptions for Trevor Lawrence. Not overly concerned. And I went back and I looked. Last year, what the heck did I do with this here? Last year, he had 87 receptions for 1,282 yards. Okay, he was targeted 133 times. He had 7 drops. So the drop percentage is 5.3%. There was 5 interceptions thrown in balls that were targeted to Brian Thomas Jr. Those are good numbers. The greatest of the greats have drops. I didn't look up Jamar Chase or Jordan Jeff or any of those wide receivers, but I'm guessing, Dylan, that they probably had 4, 5, 6, 7 drops as well. When you get targeted that amount, you're gonna put some balls on the carpet.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, every team, if you look at the best teams in the league, usually lead the league in drops. I know Kansas City was like 2 years ago, led the league in drops because they throw the ball more.
Yeah.
You have more opportunities to.
The team had 22 drops. So, you had 4 by Ingram, 3 by Strange, 2 by ETN, 2 by Tank in only 12 targets. And let's see, 1 apiece for Duvernay, Farrell, Kirk, and Parker Washington. So there you go. I mean, it's a number, but I think you'd sign up for that right now, right? 87 receptions, 1,282 yards, an average of over 10 yards a reception, and only 7 drops. Anyway, just thought I would throw that one out to you and see what you thought about it. All right, 1847 Ballou. Trevor's almost 14,000 yards passing, 69 touchdowns, 14 TD rushes, 64% completion. Best in Jags history. He will be fine. Okay, yeah, but those numbers went down last year, and that's scary because it was year 3 of that system. And we know all the reasons why. But you would expect that year 1 would not be his best season in a Doug Peterson, Press Taylor system. And it was. You look at last year, man, he only produced, only 60.6% of his passes. I mean, that is scary. We just talked about the amount of drops, so that doesn't really figure in mightily. Okay, a very small percentage. And his quarterback rating was 85.2. Those are both in the 30s if you look at starting quarterbacks. I mean, it was a dismal year for Trevor Lawrence. You go back to his second year around here, 66.3% completion rate. Had a quarterback rating of 95.2. So, yeah, he regressed, and he regressed mightily. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And, I think you still forget he's just a 25-year-old guy. He's a 25-year-old guy who was handed the keys to the franchise, and it has been mistake after mistake after mistake made by the decision makers. No doubt. From Urban Meyer on, outside of the 1 year, the second half of the season, the come-from-behind victories, the come-from-behind playoff win, outside of that, the Doug Peterson era coaching staff totally checked out. Absolutely checked out. So, you do. And everything is filled with tomfoolery. For instance, my opinion last year on Ryan Nielsen. Sold it. The man sold it. Okay? I'm buying in again on this. And not everyone is. For the most part, locally, yeah. But some people I talk with nationally, they're like, we just don't know. Is that coaching staff ready? Are they going to make a significant improvement with that staff? Only time will tell. Good question there. And we continue to invite your thoughts. 641-1010 on the text line, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also on YouTube tonight, 1010XL into the night. As I said, coming up right now at 7 o'clock, let's take a look at the very latest, our 53-man roster.
Running wild at the bank.
Explosive run.
This is 1010XL.
And Jacksonville has taken the lead.
Home of the Jaguars.
Frank
Frangie here. Experience professional grade at Nimnik Buick GMC, home of the largest inventory of GMC Sierras in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. This month, save up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500s or enjoy rates as low as 0% APR financing. Yes, 0%. You can't find deals like this anywhere else in Jacksonville. So shop 24/7 online at NimnikBuickGMC.com or at the showroom on Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
Looking for the ultimate tailgate spot this football season? Front Runners Tap House has 20-plus televisions, including a massive 396-inch television, so you won't miss a single play. Sink your teeth into extra crispy brine wings, smash burgers, and flatbreads. Fan favorites inspired by the local. Cold beer, a full bar, and the sound always on for every big game. Bring the family and catch every touchdown at Front Runners Tap House, inside the Community First Igloo.
1010XL and Channel 4 are partnering to bring you more high school football coverage than ever before. Check out our live streaming show on the multimedia platforms for both 1010XL and Channel 4 as games are happening live, debuting August 22nd, presented by Farah and Farah.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance painting.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
When your plumbing backs up, your septic's acting shady, or your AC quits on a 95-degree day, who are you going to call? Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. Don't take just our word for it. Here's what real customers are saying about their experience with our company.
Megan in the office was so helpful and polite. Scheduling was easy, and the tech showed up right on time.
From plumbing and septic to air conditioning, we do it all. Call 904-862-6769 or online at duckrooter.com. When you're stuck, call the Duck.
Have you ever dreamed of owning a handcrafted cabin tucked into a 1,000-acre regenerative farm? Well, now you can. Frank Frangie here for the farm at Okefenokee, just an hour north of Jacksonville and Folkestone. With only 250 cabins at full build-out, it's a rare chance to live off-grid, but not alone, in a community grounded in nature, food, and purpose. Explore trails, kayak Blackwater creeks, or harvest from your own land. Learn more at okefarm.com. That's OKEfarm.com.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
Jacksonville is my hometown, and nobody knows roofing like me. I'm Ronnie, the owner of Brandon Roofing. We handle everything from repairs to full roof replacements, start to finish. We give honest quotes, use quality materials, and clean up like we were never there. We all look at Google reviews, so go ahead and check out ours. We're proud of all our 5-star ratings. I would say we treat you like family, but some people don't like theirs. Go to BrandonRoofing.com today to schedule your free roof quote.
License number CCC 1328006.
For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has proudly served Jacksonville from the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard. From archery to hunting and fishing, they've got the gear, service, and know-how to get you outdoor ready. Stop by their full-service archery pro shop and check out their wide selection of firearms. And while you're there, sign up for their weekly concealed weapon classes. You can find it all at greenacressporting.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Liam Cohen has said starters will not go tomorrow night. Some don't agree with that. Mike McDaniel's going to play his starters, or at least some of his starters. Apparently good work yesterday. I'm always one that, I want to see more. They got out of there without an injury. They got out of this week without an injury. We saw the return of several football players. Really, the only two didn't work yesterday, team-related, was Travis Hunter and Tyson Campbell. I'd like to see them get a series. Okay, they're not. So, end of conversation. But you're 16 days away from the start of the regular season. There are still jobs to win here. And it's fascinating to me what Liam Cohen said yesterday about adding other players. I thought all along it would have been maybe one, possibly two. Then I looked at what they did with defensive tackles, and I was at, all right, looks like a wide receiver, sure, but that may be it. Hey, we will see. So let's look at it. Here's the latest that I have, and I really struggled to come up with 25 offensive players. I really came up with 23. Now, I added, but here's where we are. Lawrence and Mullins, those are your two, and I'm putting Hennigan on the practice squad. I think you can also consider that they bring in another quarterback if someone is released out there that they really do like. I think Mullins has had a nice camp. Can you find someone with more experience? Can you find someone that you just flat out think is better? Now, I've always been one of those who believes that if you're going to a backup quarterback, you're not going to go anywhere in the NFL. Mac Jones was a first-round draft pick. You saw what he did last year. All right, I know the exception would be Foles years ago in Philly, but possibly could happen. All right, the four backs, all aware of it. ETN, Bigsby, Tootin, Allen Jr. I'm doing everything I can. He is priority number one for me with Jaquindon Jackson to put on the practice squad. He's the number one priority on this list as far as guys that get cut that you got to keep around here on your 16-team practice squad. I got the four wide receivers, and they brought back Joshua Cephas today. At least there is a report out there that Cephas is back. He goes on IR. But, Brown, Thomas Jr., Hunter, and Washington. I think right now Trenton Irwin is your number 5 wide receiver. They still have to address this and get a sixth guy. So right now, for the sake of the 25 on offense, I'm going to say Eli Pancol. Okay, Austin Trammell has a chance here. But they're going to, when that 53-man roster is set on Monday, that is your best bet as far as a position group change with the waiver wire or trade. That is going to happen at wide receiver. 3 tight ends, I think they're set. Do they believe somewhere after Brenton Strange and Hunter Long that they can find a better football player than Johnny Munt? That's what it comes down to. Their evaluation, who's available, how do you have them ranked, everything you've done scouting. Okay, it's clear that Strange and Long are your top 2. And when you get to a number 3 guy, you're really talking about a very, very good blocking tight end. Is Johnny Munt that guy, or do they get better? So 3 tight ends. A lot of teams keep 4. I think they'll put a couple of these young guys on the practice squad, but I see them keeping 3. Offensive line is pretty bizarre. I've got them keeping 9. Right now, it feels like 6 guys going for 5 spots, and that's particularly the right side with Adoga and with Harrison and Patrick McCarry, right? We know that Hainsey is inside. We know that Walker Little is your starting left tackle. All right, backups. Jonah Monheim, absolutely. They were allowed to trade, or they were able to trade Luke Fortner, who wasn't going to make the team, and get something for it. Obviously, got a guy that could really be in the rotation, defensively speaking. But he's on the team. Wyatt Milam is on the team. They drafted him. He's a big part of the future. I don't think anyone would argue with that. I think Fred Johnson is on the team. Hadn't been a great camp for Fred Johnson. And he's a guy with a lot of experience, and I still think he's one of their better overall reserves. I didn't mention Ezra Cleveland as a starter, but you know that. I'm going to put Cole Van Lannon on the injured reserve. I just don't think that he's ready, and I believe they don't want to give up on him. He's a swing tackle from a year ago, but he will not be on the initial 53. I think that he instead is going to go on the injured reserve. So, I'm actually going 24 offensive players and 26 defensive players right now for the 53-man roster, but that's going to change. If this is the case, I think that they will add a 10th offensive lineman while Cole Van Lannon is on the injured reserve. So that is my opinion offensively. Let's get to the defense. I have 4 edge and 5 defensive tackles. All right, you know the edge with Hines Allen and Walker and Ogba, and obviously DeJuan Smoot. Those are your 4 on the edge, okay? I have 5 defensive tackles. Devon Hamilton, Eric Armstead, Mason Smith, Colin Saunders, and Austin Johnson. Those are my 5. I said I'm going 24-26. I think the cut Monday, I think it's a battle between Tyler Lacey and Jordan Jefferson. I think one of them gets cut. I think both could end up getting cut. Right now, I've seen more out of Lacey than Jefferson. So, again, I'm going to say Lacey is the 6th defensive tackle, going 4 edge, 6 defensive tackles. But I would not be surprised at all if that is a waiver situation and that changes midweek, coming up next week. So I don't have Jordan Jefferson making the team. It's too bad. I like him personally. I just hadn't really shown anything. Miles Cole, will they try to develop him again? He's lost considerable weight. He's got he's a monster at 6'6", 280. He's a monster, but he doesn't make plays. There's really no other way to say it. He doesn't make plays. He's a practice squad guy. Defensively, B.J. Green, okay? He's priority number 2 for me on the practice squad, only behind the running back Jackson. B.J. Green has really had an interesting camp, and he's done some nice things, and I think there's an opportunity there to possibly develop him. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Ethan Downs is another guy that you see, added to the practice squad. Danny Strigo, maybe 3 guys right there. Again, they have options to go elsewhere. Their agent's going to be all over the place, shopping them, looking at depth charts, whatever it may be, who's going to pay you the most. There's all sorts of things that figure in. But that's where I'm going, 6 and 4. Linebackers, I'm going with the 6. I'm going Devin Lloyd and Foye Oluokun, Ventrell Miller and Jack Kaiser are your backups. Then I get to the Sam. And right now for me, it's Dennis Gardeck is your starter, and it's Yasir Abdullah. That is another position group, the Sam linebacker position, they could possibly add there in the waiver wire. I think they're set at middle, and I think they're set at weak side. Okay? Lloyd, Oluokun, Miller, and Kaiser, I think they're set. Can they find a better Sam linebacker than Yasir Abdullah? That's what you have to ask yourself. I think there's a real possibility of that. I'm going to IR Jalen McLeod. He's not ready. He's hurt. He's a late-round pick. They like him. This guy's future, obviously, is special teams and a guy that can also play that position. So he hasn't cost you anything. I put him on the injured reserve. For those who aren't aware, the injured reserve is like another aspect. It's right there with the dead money, where it doesn't mean anything outside of going against your current salary cap. And right now, the Jaguars, you look it up for you, despite all the dead money. They have a ton. According to overthecap.com, Jacksonville right now has a salary cap space of $17,949,000. So you can put guys absolutely on the IR. I'm cutting Chad Muma. I'm sure they'd love to trade Chad Muma. And that also applies for the Jordan Jefferson, Tyler Lacey cut. Can you get anything for him? We talk about ETN and Tank all the time. We saw Brian Robinson today go to the 49ers for a 6th-round pick. Are you going to be able to get it? I didn't think you'd be able to get anything for Luke Fortner. So, is there a possibility? Yes. So let's wrap it up with the defensive backfield. And, I'm going 6 safeties. Darnell Savage. Now, let's mention him as well as a possible trade candidate, especially if they think that Caleb Ransaw is going to come back at some point, right? I mean, Eric Murray is your starter, and then it feels like it's 3 guys fighting for that second safety spot. It's Savage, it's Antonio Johnson, and it's Dewey Wingard. I've said all along that I think this is the end of the road for Daniel Thomas. He costs too much. He's a liability in coverage. He's a very good special teams player. Wouldn't be surprised at all if you see Ray Lane and Antonio Johnson as your starters, as gunners in punt situations. Again, today's kick game is a freaking joke. So really the gunners don't apply like they used to, except for punt. Lane's going to make the team. I'm going to keep Thomas right now simply because I'm putting Caleb Ransaw on IR. But I do think if there are takers out there, do not be surprised if Darnell Savage is traded. Corners, it's Lewis, it's Campbell, it's Jarian Jones, it's Christian Braswell. I mean, this is a guy I had making the team a year ago, and he did not. They put him on the practice squad. He has had another really good camp. I think he makes it. And then, of course, you don't count Travis Hunter because he plays both positions, but realistically, he is a cornerback as well. So right now, the official thing would be 6 safeties, 4 corners, but we all know there's a 5th corner there with Travis Hunter. Unfortunately, Buster Brown, I think, is an IR candidate. And if they keep him on the active roster, then someone's got to go. I don't know who that someone is. Could they trade could they cut Thomas and go 5-5? Do they stay 6-5? Hunter technically 4, but obviously a 5 because he goes both ways. I mean, these are decisions this football team has to make. The only one that is intriguing to me and could make the team, and I didn't mention him, is DeAndre Prince, who's had a nice camp. My opinion, practice squad him for a year and see what he does. See if he has the type of rise that, we've seen this year with Christian Braswell. Don't know. But that's the way I look at it. Cook, Little, and Matisic as your 3 special teams guys. So 24 offense, 26 defense, 3 special teamers. There's 53. 54 is Cole Van Lanen on the IR. 55 is Jalen McLeod on the IR. 56 and 57 is Caleb Ransaw and Buster Brown on the IR. That is what I am looking at right now. As we get ready to go to this break, enormous training camp tonight, or enormous game tomorrow night for Fred Johnson. I don't know what they're going to do with the 3. Do you play any one of the 3? Ed Oga, Makari. You're not going to play Harrison. Do you play those 2? Is that still a battle? Can that be worked out in non-contact over the next 2 weeks? Defensively, huge night tomorrow night for Tyler Lacey, for Jordan Jefferson. Big night tomorrow night for Chad Muma. Big night tomorrow night for Yasir Abdullah. Big night tomorrow night for Daniel Thomas. Big night tomorrow night for Deontay Prince and Christian Braswell. So that's where I'm at this particular time. Thoughts on that? Let us know. 641-1010 on the text line. That's brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Also tonight on YouTube, just go to 1010XL into the night.
1010XL's Hayes Carline represents you in the locker room.
So you got to up your game.
Interview persons of interest so you'll have the information you need to get ready for game day.
Time to put on your game face.
Opened by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party. No, you see, you get $150 in bonus bets after your first $5 bet hits.
Did somebody say hit?
Whoa, Ray Lewis? We were just saying if your bet hits.
Huh. You know I love a good form tackle.
We know, Ray. We know.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New players bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 and up and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Please call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
In late July, Florida's unforgiving heat beats down on the practice field. Every time something you need to know happens at training camp, you'll hear about it on 1010XL. Covered by Green Acres Sporting Goods and Roland Reach Plumbing.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Shuffle up and deal for a cause. Let's go all in to help others out. Join the Hold'em for Life poker tournament coming up September 20th at Blessed Trinity Parish Hall. Every hand helps the Women's Help Center support expectant mothers and newborns.
Find out how you can be part of the cure for blood cancer at the Light the Night Walk at ViStar Ballpark November 22nd. Take the first step at lightthenight.org.
Dreams Come True is a local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
City Rescue Mission has been providing food, clothing, and love for over 70 years to the homeless in Jacksonville. If someone you know is struggling, learn more about the City Rescue Mission at crmjax.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Summer's winding down, and we know you want to enjoy what's left of it. But before you celebrate this Labor Day weekend, plan ahead and know all your options. If you drink, don't get behind the wheel. Instead, designate a sober driver or catch a ride service. And if you are the designated sober driver, commit to staying sober. Celebrate responsibly and remember to drive sober or get pulled over. This message brought to you by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors. With great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJax.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. I always brag on what you guys have on-road and off-road. But Greg, tell everybody about what's happening on the water, because you got loads of opportunity.
We do. We've got lots of boats in stock. We got the Honda 19-foot Fisher Runabout. We've got the Coach pontoons, all of them with that legendary Honda motor and legendary Honda reliability, which you always want when you're out on the water.
You could be cruising along the Intercoastal or out on the ocean, but check it out. Facebook page ready for all of you to see, Cycles of Jacksonville, or their showroom on Atlantic near Regency.
David here with Royal Pest Services. It's back.
our summer Centricon Termite Special. New installs begin as low as $249. And if you have existing Centricon, but your renewal is through the roof, we can transfer you to Royal at no cost. Visit RoyalPestServices.com to schedule a free estimate.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
53-man roster is set wide open for you to tell me what you think and what you believe. Changes. We'll get it from Dylan as well. Coming up here in just one moment. I've always been a believer that Robin Hood is a fictional character who stole from the rich and gave it to the poor. Now, that changed. Where I grew up, there were some who thought that Whitey Bulger was Robin Hood. All right, in Boston, especially when he rigged the lottery and won it. Which to this day is one of the greatest stories of all time. How can the biggest FBI informant, head of the Irish Mafia in Boston, win the lottery? A lot of people thought John Gotti was a Robin Hood in New York. But do you see this story that is now out on ESPN? I don't want to give it a lot of time because I want to get back to the Jaguars. We'll have another time to dive into this. But this is a brand new story. A company by the name of Robin Hood is a financial company and is now involved in the betting industry where they are allowing trades. Okay? And what I mean by trades, you can trade point spreads with others. Okay? And it's not crystal clear. I don't know if it's just against the book or if you can openly go against someone else and then, Robin Hood would receive the vig. They would receive a percentage of this. But over-unders and sides, college and pro, this is obviously being contested by the NCAA, who says that they are deeply concerned. But we have seen how everything has changed in the world of gambling, particularly in-game live betting. Apparently, Dylan, this is the newest way that this is going to change. You can actually barter and move point spreads.
Yeah, I've never heard this kind of language when it comes to sports betting. I know Robin Hood's, a lot of friends, people my age will use this to trade stocks. I've never heard anything like this.
Again, we don't want to spend any more time on it. Let's get back to the Jags, but it is a breaking story. And, we always talk the latest involved with gambling, and we'll have 3 handicappers on beginning again next week as we get ready for both college and pro football. Was it 10 years after who sang tax the rich, feed the poor, till there are no rich no more? I believe it was. One hit wonder 10 years after. Sounds a little bit like, who would I describe them as? Maybe the Kinks, a little bit like that. Who was the second one on the Who was the one that was on the Beatles Apple record where all those guys committed suicide? Can you look that up for me? It's on the tip of my tongue right now. I can't remember the name of the group, but the Beatles went to the Apple record and then they signed someone else.
Says the Beatles, also known as the White Album, Yellow Submarine, and Abbey Road.
No, those are albums.
Okay.
How about Apple Records? Who did they sign? Or maybe one of our listeners out there will know. It's going to bother me if we don't figure this out. Badfinger. I just saw it right there. There you go. It was Badfinger. And a couple of cool... that's who they remind me of 10 years after Badfinger. But unfortunately, the guys from Badfinger, man, they've had some tough times. And they've been gone for quite some time. All right, let's grab some reaction. 53-man roster. Heel hitter says Trammell. I think you can wager right now that one of the two is going to make the team, right? That is either Trammell at wide receiver or it is Trenton Irwin at wide receiver. Hacker and I are in agreement with this. This is the way I look at Trenton Irwin. I wouldn't keep him on my roster. I just wouldn't, because he's not a special teams guy. I get a big wide receiver, and then I get someone that can play special teams. Trenton Irwin is a number 4 wide receiver. Okay? Put him on the practice squad. I hate to say it, okay, but this is reality. Let's just say that, Cephas is still healthy. Let's say they keep Pancol, and they bring in another wide receiver who can play special teams, who are 5 and 6. If one of your top 4 wide receivers go down, you bring up Trenton Irwin from the practice squad, and he becomes your number 4 wide receiver. He passes guys on your active roster at 5 and 6 because he has a lot of experience and has caught a lot of balls. Where he becomes problematic is you want your 5th and 6th wide receivers to be special teams guys. You understand where I'm going with that? But if it's not him, it's Trammell. Trammell missed on a couple of opportunities last year. And, I think that is something that, honestly, this football team is looking at. I think Trammell's had a nice camp. I really do believe that. Let's see. You two, Robert Lamison, saying he thinks Braswell will make the team. I think, listen, I thought he made the team a year ago. I watched a ton of practice the last 2 years with Dave Campo. And Dave Campo knows a heck of a lot more about defense than I do. But we were in total agreement last season that Christian Braswell should have made the team, and he did not. Now, what could be really interesting is taking a guy from the practice squad and developing him, even though this isn't, quote-unquote, their guy. How cool would that be moving forward? Listening to James Gladstone yesterday on our airwaves, that really feels like that's going to be a part of the plan. How many guys on your 16-team practice squad can you develop who eventually become contributors to your football team? I'm trying to think, who's the last guy they really took off the practice squad? And I'm not talking about, when they brought in Philip Dorsett for a game or Taven Austin for a game or something like that. I'm talking about legitimately guys that were considered a project, Dylan. They developed, and then they became a guy on their 53.
I can't think of one off the top of my head. Parker Washington started when he was a rookie. He was on this roster, correct?
6th rounder, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
That's the only one that comes to mind that when they played Cincinnati on that Monday night, he didn't really get to play much at the beginning of that year, and then Christian Kirk got hurt with the groin, and then he had to make a couple plays.
Mm-hmm.
But he was on the roster.
I wonder how that is league-wide. I wonder how many, teams consistently can. I mean, if you find one, you'd be thrilled. If he's a real legitimate, guy that can help out your football team, contribute to your team. And I do think that Christian Braswell is absolutely going to be a part of that. He's going to be that on special teams. And when they go to dime coverage or if someone gets nicked up, I hate to have to say if someone gets injured. I wish that there was just another way that I could term that. I've used attrition because I know how you fans are, and I don't want to be responsible for the jinx around here, okay? If so, I'll become the modern-day Robin Hood. I'll just start dropping stuff off and having a good time. Philip here says, how come we can't see young Dylan? Are you not visible on YouTube? I thought
I got to
producers
pull
were.
up the producer cam, the little square.
The people want to see you, especially the ladies. There's like 50 ladies on here saying, where's Dylan? Where's Dylan? Where's Dylan? So maybe you need to start pulling that up here. Again, technically speaking, at least I can respond now on YouTube. And I've been doing that as of late, which is just really a whole bunch of fun for me. Good stuff tonight on YouTube. Audience is growing. And we do appreciate it. As well, getting an awful lot tonight on our text line at 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. All right, I went through my 53. Let's get some more from you. What do you think? Guys I missed on, guys that you think will make this team that I did not have making this team. I put 4 guys on IR. That's a lot. Are they going to make some of these players healthy, put them on the 53, and not stash them on the IR? You know, you have the new IR rules, but that only applies, a certain amount of time. So that becomes an interesting part of this as well. All right, much more to do. We do tonight till 8.
Frank Frangie here. It's always truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet. Well, this month, you can save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 0%. Unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, ready for you to explore. With their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnick. So shop online at nimnickchevy.com or visit the dealership at Park and Cassett. Who's got more new Chevrolets at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Denny Thompson here. Look, don't get left in the dark. We're all trying to reason with hurricane season, so at least be prepared. For top-of-the-line generators in Jacksonville, I turn to Tyson. Licensed pros at Tyson deliver reliable, whole-home standby generators and provide fast repair service. They even do custom installations for local businesses, so don't wait. Ensure seamless installation and peace of mind. Call Tyson now, 904-762-1000 for a free estimate on generator services. TysonInc.com.
Come to Monahan Jewelers store-wide 40 to 50% off sale going on now for a very limited time. Everything on display is 40 to 50% off at Monahan Jewelers. We've bought so much brand new jewelry, we need to make room for it. Diamond jewelry, engagement semi-mounts, colored gemstones, even gold chains. Right now, everything on display at Monahan Jewelers is 40 to 50% off. Jewelry's going quick, so come to Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, the wings are fresh, the drinks are cold, and the game is always on. With 30 bold flavors, ice-cold beer, and handcrafted cocktails, there's no better place to kick back and catch every play. Escape the ordinary. Your home for sports is Hurricane Grill and Wings.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie, and I got to tell you, I can't fix anything. I would be so lost with plumbing problems if not for Duck Duck Rooter. But everybody knows to call the Duck. Well, I do too. Whether it's plumbing, air conditioning, septic, they handle all of it, and nobody does a better job than our friends at Duck Duck Rooter. Any of those needs you have, call them today, 904-862-6769, or go to duckduckrooter.com. If you've got problems, call Duck Duck Rooter. They'll handle it. I guarantee it.
Let's get the work done. Training camp is here.
Up, quick feet.
1010XL's training camp coverage is backed by Roland Reach Plumbing and Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Go, here we go. Let's go. It's live now. Let's go.
Lee Bryce. What do you know about that tour? Saturday, September 13th, St. Augustine Amphitheater. With special guests Ashley Cook and Lewis Bryce. Award-winning country sensation Lee Bryce. On sale now at AXS.com. Don't miss Lee Bryce Live.
Transmission troubles? I'm Robin Sidbury, owner of Action Transmission Specialist on Merrill Road. So come in and see how we can help solve your transmission troubles. We service all makes and models. Remember, get traction. Call Action at 744-0755.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Feed the poor. Tell there are no rich no
Pretty deep. I mean, it's Robin Hood. Robin Hood is allowing you to trade point spreads.
Anything to find a loophole, Rick.
In the world of gambling, it's amazing. You found something?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you found something I missed in the story. There'll be much more written on it. I just had the basics, but so if Florida State's a 13-point home underdog to Alabama, and you're a Bama fan, you can, I guess, accept the 13 and make that 13-26, or maybe give up the 13 and make that, just a money line, which typically, a money line on 13 points, you can be paying 6-1, 7-1. I have no idea, but I'm fascinated by what's going to come out of this.
It sounds like you can trade like a share of like Microsoft, like a share or two, and then be like, hey, I want to throw this instead on the Gator spread for this Saturday. I don't know. That's kind of how I'm interpreting it.
Yeah, and granted, the story needs to be a little bit more clear, and I think that they will be a little bit more clear. The SEC announced 9. As we know, 9 games in 2026, 9 conference games. And they're going to go to the 3-6 model. So Florida will have Georgia, LSU, and is it South Carolina? Is that third opponent?
It's not official yet.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all projections. Matt Hayes was talking about it earlier. He said basically with all the best teams that it's probably, like Florida's probably going to be matched up with Georgia, Tennessee, and you would figure another top team. Like they're probably not going to keep like a South Carolina with Florida. Because
if they'll
TV.
keep LSU. They've had that LSU rivalry for a while.
Because, who runs college football is the TV networks with ESPN and Fox. And ESPN's not going to sign off with, Florida playing South Carolina or Vandy every year.
Yeah, and the Big Ten thinks they're the one, but they're still the SEC. They're still the monster. I mean, look at the tweak that happened earlier in the week, where they're going to now, evaluate teams based on a schedule strength metric. The example that everyone used was what? Okay? I mean, it wasn't the Florida State getting snubbed 2 years ago and Alabama getting in. No, it was Alabama that went 9-3, and they were left out, and Miami got in with a record of 10-2. So what they're going to do here is they're going to look at the strength, your record based on strength, and you're going to get more credit for losing to another top-ranked team. Conversely, if you have a victory or lose to a team with a minimal record, you're going to be penalized for that. And the example they gave last year, the Crimson Tide, they beat Georgia, Missouri, and LSU, but 2 of its losses were to teams that finished the regular season at 6-6. Bama also lost to Oklahoma by 21 points. Miami lost on the road to a 7-5 Georgia Tech team and a 9-3 Syracuse team. The Hurricanes didn't have any wins over teams that were ranked at the time of those games. Wow. Even though Louisville and Duke finished with records of 9-4, when Miami faced them and beat them, they were not ranked at the time. So, look what's going on there. More changes. And what you want now, and Matt Hayes writes about this too, is you need the Big Ten to agree with the SEC. You need to get to the 5-11 model.
And apparently that's why the Big Ten called out the SEC. The Big Ten had 9 conference teams. They had 9 conference games. The SEC did not.
Right.
And the SEC called their bluff. So now they're probably going to move that 5-11 for next year. We'll find out the next couple of months and go on from there with wherever they do the 14 or 16 team playoff.
The ACC needs to go to that. They'll be next. And Greg Sankey also said what? You're going to schedule at least one non-conference game every year against someone from the ACC, Big 12, or Big 10. And obviously around here, that already applies with Florida State, Florida, with Georgia Tech. Anyway, that is that. But the 5-11 model works, right? Give the one small school their glory with the other, the Big 12 champ, the Big 10 champ, the ACC champ, the SEC champ, and then take the 11 best at-large teams. I mean, you're going to start to have 10-2s, 9-3s, but especially from the Big 10 and the SEC, who play such a difficult schedule that they lose games. And as long as you don't get blown out, I mean, Alabama can't lose by 21 points to Oklahoma. Okay, but if it comes down to this, and it's a one-possession ball game, the way that this new component is going to come into play, it's really going to benefit teams who play other good teams. So, we talk about everything, how it changes. We're talking about gambling, how it changes. We're talking about how college football is actually changing. 53-68, Trevor Lawrence has all the attributes to be a successful quarterback, but I don't think he can read defenses, especially in crucial situations. They come in this way. It's repetitive. That's the knock. And we spent 7, 8, 10 minutes on this earlier in the program. And, I really went through how I believe the Liam Cohen offense and everything he has done with it is going to take that pressure off Trevor Lawrence. I think this offense is designed to do that, with the one problem being, can they run the football? 0148 Blue Tank is just coming to his prime. ETN isn't going to be better 4 to 5 years post the Liz Frank. Against Carolina, the two backs I want out there are Tank and ETN. I do. And I think Tootin's going to be phenomenal. I think Tootin's the future. But I'm talking about in 16 days. ETN has had a spectacular camp. Not a good camp. A spectacular camp. Running the football, catching the football. As much as I admire Allen Jr. and Tootin, they're rookies. I want the screen game against Carolina to feature Travis Etienne. I think that is the best possibility of this football team winning. Now, if you can get a lead and you can get lathered up, and that's not going to take a lot in this heat coming up in early September, then that becomes a big opportunity for Tank to run the football downfield. But again, not to be repetitive. That's right there. It's Trevor Lawrence 1A, and then 1B is, can you run? Man, if they can run, everything changes. It's almost foolish for me to say, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay? 2 weeks before the start of the regular season, I'll tell you right now, straight up, their biggest concern going into next year is going to be, once again, the offensive line. There you have it. What strides does Anton Harrison make in year 3? Can Walker Little stay healthy? If Cleveland gives you a year, it's probably it. He's out. You hope that it's Milam next year. Maybe this Monheim kid, maybe he's a huge find. And he's already the heir apparent for Hainsey. Right now, left guard, how comfortable do you feel about Edoga, who's missed some time with an injury? Patrick McCarty just got a huge paycheck. We've seen guys come here after huge paychecks, and they've fallen apart. On the offensive line, absolutely. But, position-wise, some guys are wired that way. You give them the bag, the effort isn't going to be what it once was. They hit payday. And I'm not saying that that's going to be the case for Patrick McCarry. I'm not. But it does make you wonder, and I do. I feel pretty comfortable about saying that right now, that most of the names I just mentioned right there are not a big part of this future. I mean, Walker Little and Anton Harrison are not this brass's guys. We were surprised by the Walker Little contract extension for Trent Baalke. privately, we don't know what Baselli thinks about that. We don't know what Gladstone thinks about that. Is the light finally going to go on for Anton Harrison? You know, he's got a chance to re-up here and make a ton of money, to have his fifth-year option, or he could be on the street in 2 years. You just don't know. What I do know is this. Ryan the Hacker Green will join you after Rick Ballou. That's 15 minutes away.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% in homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
Are you an experienced chiller technician and looking for a role where your skills are truly valued? It's time to make the move to Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. You'll get top pay, comprehensive health and welfare benefits for your family, and a pension that doesn't come out of your pocket. Join the team that's got your back. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to send your resume today.
Equal opportunity employer.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to itppartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
Summer's wrapping up, and life is picking back up. Early mornings, long days, and a to-do list that doesn't quit. And neither should you. Who has time to slow down due to body pain? That's why there's Aleve, to keep you going. With just one pill, Aleve delivers longer-lasting body pain relief per dose compared to other leading OTC branded pain relievers. Aleve helps keep you moving from sunup to sundown with up to 12 hours of pain relief per dose, so you can keep moving and be ready for whatever's next. Use as directed.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jacks cool since '87.
It's all about tomorrow, 7 o'clock. The Jaguars will play their final preseason game, and that is going to be against the Miami Dolphins, another team that, I mean, they're really struggling. They traded some big-name players and, talked that Mike McDaniel could end up, really being the first coach fired when it's all said and done. Reports out that Joshua Cephas is back. He was waived midweek. Aaron Wilson, who does a nice job out in Houston, actually did report this. Again, we haven't received anything officially from the Jaguars, so they haven't made that announcement yet, but he is going to go on injured reserve. I haven't even looked at the line. I guess there's got to be a line for this game. It's not up right now. Well, ESPN quit putting lines up on their games. A lot of people making cash on preseason matchups, but you have to believe Miami is going to be favored, at least somewhat, because this football game is being played down there. And, it has been stated that starters are going to play, at least somewhat. A lot of, I looked around last night, Carolina for the most part. It's not like I paid attention to the game, but didn't really go with starters one night ago in a 19-10 loss to the Carolina Panthers. New England got blown out by the Giants. Mike Vrabel turned around, cut 7 players today, not even waiting for, the official cuts, which will be coming up on Monday afternoon. So Monday, we're going to have a whole heck of a lot of fun. That's going to be, I think, a blast to look at the 53-man roster and then really take into consideration, what else is going to happen as far as adding players overall to your roster. So we will see. All right. The big news today that could possibly involve Jacksonville is Brian Robinson, as a running back, was traded from D.C. to the 49ers. It was a 6th-round pick in 2026. So if you're comparing and you're wondering about value, what does that mean for Tank Bigsby? What could he possibly bring back to this organization? Travis Etienne. Now, there's a big difference. Etienne, a couple of years older and more expensive. This is a 5th-year option for Etienne that pays him more than $6 million a year. Tank Bigsby, I want to say, is making $1.4 million this year. So finances come into play. And also, the wear of the tires always come into play. The running back position remains one of the most undervalued positions, unfortunately, in the NFL. And that's just realistic. 0543 Blue, would you have signed Trevor whenever they did, or would you have given it another year? The guy was the only one in town who said I wouldn't have signed him. I also made a self-promise that I wasn't going to belabor that. I wasn't going to be one of these guys that said, see, I told you I was right. They should have listened to me. Obviously, you're asking the question, so you haven't heard. I basically let it go. I said at the time, no. I wouldn't pay him. I'd let him earn it. But, that is that. 39-78, Rick, maybe we're preparing the NFL depth season. Suddenly we have depth at running back and wide receiver. I don't think we're as thin as almost any position as we think. And we try to look ahead and understand injuries happen in the NFL. We definitely raised our floor. Yeah, it's a better 53-man roster. And, I think they could add another quarterback if they believe one is better. I think it's a real possibility they could add another offensive lineman if they think someone is better. And that is with the understanding that Cole Van Landen begins on IR. They are going to add a wide receiver. That we would agree with. After the injury to Cephas, you have your 4. Sean Payton let out that information the other night in Denver when it involved Devon Vele, that, a big wide receiver is something that Jacksonville does covet. I think a defensive tackle, they're set. I think in the secondary, they are set. I think they have 4 edges that they like. The Sam linebacker position is one that I would really keep an eye on, okay? Your starter is Dennis Gardeck. Your backup is Yasir Abdul. I think officially on their depth chart, they're listed as or. I'll tell you that Dennis Gardeck's going to be the starter. As we know, the Sam linebacker position is not used all that much in today's NFL because most teams are primarily in nickel. But I wouldn't be shocked if you add also a Sam linebacker if one becomes available. And there's going to be a lot of guys who do become available. That is it. We got high school football coming up, including our brand new show with Hacker and Justin Barney. That's going to be a whole heck of a lot of fun, so keep it right here. Bear in mind, beginning next Friday, I will be on 4 to 6 on AM only, okay? Only on 1010. 4 to 6 beginning next Friday. Monday night, back to my 6 o'clock hour. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you then.